He called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
It's just one of the best troll jobs and the funniest White House ever. The left is pretty much always wrong. And what do I mean by that? The left was wrong on central urban planning. The left was wrong. I mean, if you want to point to communism, every example of it ever being implemented to any degree whatsoever. Wrong on climate change. Florida's not supposed to be there. We're not supposed to have any more of the Great Barrier Reef. Ozone's supposed to be gone. Let's see, what else? Wrong on, well, obviously wrong on the trans issue and kids and men and women's sports. Wrong on taxation, the economy. Gosh, take your pick. They're wrong about pretty much everything. Wrong that we were going to be living under a Nazi regime with less freedom, whereas we actually have more, or at least more protected our First Amendment rights and Second Amendment rights. Maybe you can comment as to when they've been right about anything in recent memory. Objectively, and I'll concede it if you guys can. Please comment below. Nick, that's Applejack. That's where you hit comment. Good. Yeah, you're doing better. So let's go. Let's now apply this to NATO, where, assuming everything works out, this is the best result humanly possible, and it's been a big issue not only for the United States, but the international community at large. Right? This has been looming, where they're like, at what point are they going to come and actually collect on the bill? So let's back up. In case you've forgotten, according to the experts in the media, when President Trump, then nominee, or then guy they were trying to put in jail, maybe guy they tried to assassinate, they told you that if he ever achieved higher office again, that President Trump was going to disband and abandon our NATO allies. Here's proof.
One thing that Donald Trump has proven time and time again is somebody that's not trustworthy when it comes to standing up for our allies.
During his speech in Detroit today, the same one where he insulted Detroit, Donald Trump also bragged before the city's economic club about his willingness to abandon NATO allies in the face of Russian aggression.
You said, so for those of you keeping track, Trump says he will end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Putin tells
that
him to
girl
pound
looks
sand.
Like a cat left
war
in the
is
rain.
Now worse than ever. Trump says he'll solve the Gaza war. That war is now worse than ever. Trump tells Bibi not to strike Iran to give him space to negotiate. Bibi strikes Iran 2 days before talks. Does it seem like world leaders respect Trump?
Abandoned Ukraine, to say nothing of our allies overseas.
Yeah, and so they were saying that, but again, in context, even some of those examples where President Trump was saying people need to start paying what they agreed to a very long time ago, or NATO is of no benefit to us. So here's where we are now. Yesterday, NATO summit, funniest NATO summit ever, by the way, in Netherlands. The NATO allies, most of whom didn't meet their spending at all while we overspent, they agreed. They agreed to massively increase their spending to 5% of their GDP.
In a very historic milestone this week, the NATO allies committed to dramatically increase their defense spending to that 5% of GDP, something that no one really thought possible. And they said, you did it, sir, you did it. Well, I don't know if I did it, but I think I did.
Did you finish? I don't know if you finished. I think you did.
I think it'd be impossible not to.
Can you imagine?
I'm going to go back to the spending because Spain sucks. But before that, you'll understand in a few minutes. There was a lot that was just worth watching and covering. That's just fun. So, for example, the NATO Secretary General Mark, Rutte? Had called Trump daddy, and that's a win.
They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes, then it's easier to stop them.
And then daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
It would be a lot less creepy if it wasn't that accent.
Yeah.
Daddy has to sometimes use strong language. I like it when daddy comes home. And my mother used to say, wait till your daddy gets home, I get hard.
Sometimes you have to have your daddy spank you.
That's right. I see daddy pick a cheek. Which one's been worse?
Sounds like
left and right, please.
How about both? It's a reward. The cherry on top. Oh, no, wait, hold on a second. We have another clip after this. President Trump addressed it later in the press conference, and I want you to pay very close attention to usually stoic, straight-faced, most improved Marco Rubio.
Hello.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
And then a hero comes along with a strength to and the cast aside.
I remember when I called him daddy.
You can see in his face, he's like, that's why he called me small hands. This is just what this guy does. I'm glad he's doing it for me now.
He is so stoked. He always looks like he has a frown basically on his face, and he just couldn't stop laughing.
He just couldn't help it. It's just too good. The cherry on top was then, and this is how you know you have a White House. This is another win with a sense of humor. Because at first I watched this, I said, wait, they're not taking themselves seriously, are they? And then as you continue to watch, you go like, oh, it's just one of the best troll jobs and the funniest White House ever. They released this hype video. Just watch it.
I just want to get your attention. I really want to be all up in your head.
Here it comes.
Yeah. Is you say daddy's home. You ain't got to give my love away. Somebody say,
It's a pretty good hype video, even though it's a troll.
Yeah, it's well done.
I ain't gotta do a lot of flexing. Shawty, you already know what it is.
I wonder how Usher feels about it.
I just love.
It's awesome.
It's like also I'm not gonna lie to you, especially after Bowman. Like it's nice to see some authoritative white guys in charge. Him and Hegseth, and I get Rubio, he's Latino, you know. But the point is like, it's fine. It's not some weird trans freak show who's chest feeding.
By far the funniest president of all time.
I know.
Like I haven't been alive for 250 years, but
no, I don't.
It's got to be pretty close.
Yeah, maybe George Washington sounded just like him. We don't know.
Maybe.
Like, this is one president who doesn't chest feed. Not Pete Hegseth. Pete Buttigieg grows.
Cannot tell a lie. That is a man.
Maybe we don't know what Abraham Lincoln necessarily said.
4 and 20 dicks ago.
7 ago. All right. Now here's the bad part, but it's okay because Daddy will deal with it. Spain is a nation of idiots. They refused to pay 5%. And what do you think was going to happen? Spain, President Trump was pissed, rightfully so.
Are you satisfied with today?
Oh, I think Spain's terrible what they've done. No, I do. They're the only country that won't pay the full up. They want to stay at 2%. I think it's terrible. And, you know, they're doing very well. The economy is very well. And that economy could be blown right out of the water with something bad happening. You know, Spain is the only country that... Are you from Spain?
Yeah.
Good, congratulations.
Yeah.
You're the only country that is not paying. I don't know what the problem is.
Marco, look at him again.
So we'll make it up. You know what we're going to do? We're negotiating with Spain on a trade deal. We're going to make them pay twice as much. And I'm actually serious about that. I'm going to negotiate directly with Spain. I'm going to do it myself.
No siestas.
They're going to pay. They'll pay more money.
Look at him again. Marco's just having a field day.
You should tell them to go back and pay. You're a reporter? Tell them to go back. They ought to join all of those countries that are paying 5%. Spain's going to be just about the only one that's not.
Just about. No, they're going to be the only one that's not.
The only one.
I think it's the only one.
Almost.
Are there any others? I don't know. People are saying there's no others. I say, I don't know. It's just Spain? Wow.
They're going to be running from the bull, and I'm the bull.
Siesta means nap. The whole country takes a nap. Can you believe it? So he may be and I mean this, people think because of the way that he speaks that he's bumbling. I've never said that Donald Trump is anything other than smart. He may actually be a genius. And I mean, he may actually be a genius because we couldn't have predicted this being as effective as we've seen, for example, with the border, for example, what we saw with Iran at negotiating. This is a guy who has done this his entire life, pretty much exclusively. You know, President Trump, as far as a business person, is usually about brokering, about negotiating deals. He's not someone who's just running a shop. And he does seem to have an ability to see the whole field, or to see around corners, see pitfalls that other people don't see, because now they're going to pay 5%. Now, keep in mind, before President Trump's first term, only 5% of countries were meeting their commitment of 2% of their GDP spending in NATO. Now, that number is 23 nations.
Wow.
And even more, I'm going to go to the infrastructure part next, but for example, they're going to now increase their spending to 5%, and the UK is going to spend some of that 5% with us buying 12 nuclear-capable F-35s, and Germany also buying 36 F-35s.
Excellent.
Nice.
And it's one of those things where it's a twofer win. He not only but full MSRP, sticker price. They're going like hotcakes. I can't give you a discount. I'm sorry, it's full price, not wholesale, retail. So they're going to start spending.
Oh my gosh.
And they're going to spend it with us. And then, I tell you what, I will retire a happy man. And that's hyperbole, just to be clear.
I was like, wait, what?
I'll just quit. I will kill myself. In happiness if President Trump gets Europe to cut welfare spending, which may be what we're looking at. So that's been one of the questions. And a Dutch official asked about this, had a pretty good answer. He said, it's a difficult question, but we can make it about rebuilding our infrastructure. There is not a bridge in the Netherlands that can actually hold a tank. How do you, and this is how silly it is. These people have been banking on us How do you defend your nation if you can't get your tanks anywhere?
They're like, well, we just don't want anybody else to get their tanks in.
Well, you can easily build one.
I guess we can cut the welfare if we just say it because we don't have bridges that can hold a man with a rifle. Shouldn't you have thought of that before you pissed off the most powerful nation that's ever existed?
Oh my gosh.
This has been them preying on our generosity. Think about that. You're giving your people free internet, but you can't, you don't have a bridge for your tanks?
I know. It is the most insane thing I've seen. And look, by the way, we kind of called the increased spending from these countries.
Oh, yeah.
You called it.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm going to the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're going to win the game, I guarantee.
We just say, new rules, went to 4%. You guys have 6 months to get to 4%. On your military spending. You guys have 6 months, call your SNAP budget meeting, whatever it is, and all your stupid, silly Banana Republic government systems. We don't give a shit. Come back to us when you have 4%, or we're out until all of you do. Once all of you do, fine, we'll be in NATO.
Yeah, we'll just pause Article 5.
I can get behind that 100%.
And by the way, for us, it's 2. For you all, it's 4.
Because we're so much bigger.
Because we're so much bigger, because we've been spending so much.
Yes. We're going to spend what we're going to spend.
That's the new agreement. It's 4 for you, it's 2 for us, within 6 months, or we're out.
Deal?
Deal.
Come, let Zoltar tell you more.
I'm going to the next pitch ball right past the flag.
We're going to win the game, I guarantee.
And then he went one more.
He did.
With 5. And by the way, he said, we're going to stay at 2. He also said that, I believe, last week. He's like, we're going to stay at 2. You're going to 5. There's no negotiation. That's what you're going to do. Good luck getting your tanks nowhere.
Yeah, build a bridge.
Weren't we at like 3? Like 3 or...
Oh, we were spending well more. I think 3.6 is what we were spending. Some years over 4. And many nations didn't even spend 0.6%.
We just spend. I don't think we really care about the percent. We just spend what we're going to spend.
Yes. Right.
And it ends up being that.
Yeah. And they bank on us doing that. That's the problem, is they bank on us doing it, and then they don't protect themselves. I can't be anything other than happy. Can you guys comment? But like, hey, let's show a little camaraderie with each other. And this is a good thing. This has been a really, really good week. Not perfect, but a good week.
This is great, and I wonder how the mainstream media is going to spin this as a bad thing. You know, Europe is building its own arms. building up their own militaries is a good thing.
Yeah.
A stronger Europe. That's what you want, right?
Right. It's not just independently, meaning one of those countries is just going to attack another. It's as a group, as NATO.
Right.
So that they can come to the defense of a country if they are invaded and maybe, I don't know, check some aggression.
You know what? Wouldn't they want to do that if they actually believed that Trump or the United States was a fascist nation? Wouldn't they want to be able to protect? Because we're the ones they would need to protect themselves from. We're telling you, hey, prepare for us since you think we're so bad.
Yeah, so fast. Do you remember when Hitler was selling Tiger tanks to friggin' Europe, or the rest of Europe and Russia? And
yeah, exactly. He was selling AKs to the Jews.
It's weird.
Have I got a deal for Juden?
selling Panzers to France. Remember that?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Holy Land? Balfour Declaration. Let's do it now.
Yeah, that's right. Look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime offer for the chosen people. Ring, ring, it's God. You going to answer? So, I can't be anything other than happy. Here's another one. This is now dead. Also, Trump got Zelensky to wear a suit. That's all he wanted. But one of the oldest lines of attack on President Trump, which we also just saw completely dispelled, was that President Trump was Putin's bitch. Remember that?
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America.
In fact, the only thing your mouth is good for is being Vladimir Putin's holster.
You have been watching perhaps one of the most disgraceful performances by an American president at a summit in front of a Russian leader. Certainly that I've ever seen.
More and more Republicans are increasingly siding with Russia, seemingly at the behest of Donald Trump, whose appeasement of Vladimir Putin should come as no surprise.
But this is one other thing to watch. If we really are now abandoning the free world and lining up instead with the world's dictatorships, and Trump is unwilling to even explain why.
The Trump people basically live in a transactional world where they don't understand why Ukraine would resist because they don't really understand about sovereignty. But fundamentally, Trump admires Putin and wants to be like Putin. He wants to be like Putin even more than he wants to be like a king.
See, if he's cordial with Putin, it's appeasement, and if he's harsh with the Ayatollah, it's aggressive. There's no winning with these people. They just hate America at every single turn. You know what's good for America? Not being at war with Russia. You know what's good for America? Iran not having nukes. And there are ways to accomplish both of them. Unfortunately for that narrative, President Trump was anything but pro-Putin at the NATO summit, very clearly.
Mr. President, Secretary General Rutte has described President Putin as an adversary, a threat, an enemy. Do you view him the same way as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff?
General Kane.
Yes, he has said that Mr. Putin has territorial ambitions beyond Ukraine. Do you view that in the same way?
Possible. I mean, it's possible. I know one thing, he'd like to settle. He'd like to get out of this thing. It's a mess for him. He called the other day. He said, can I help you with Iran? I said, no, you can help me with Russia.
My husband is there.
Well,
and
I can see you it's amazing.
And me with the kids. I'm in Warsaw, actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
Ukrainian lady.
He's there now?
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
In Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available, And I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you.
And all Zelensky had to do was wear a suit.
Looks very nice.
I really don't want to be wearing this. Right now, look, really quickly on CNN. Doge cuts could weaken U.S. ability to handle Iran threats. What threat? I thought they were. Are you serious?
To Americans.
Are you serious?
Fine.
So, you guys see it. Let's just get the hell out of here. That's it. Really? Oh, so now, hold on a second. The biggest threat. The biggest threat facing the United States regarding Iran's nuclear capabilities is Doge. Do I have that right?
Yeah, well, it's because Doge is cutting the the Trans Sesame Street program in Iran.
Yes.
And so because of that, all this trans aggression, which doesn't exist, by the way, is going to just manifest itself here in the States.
Yeah, the threat that doesn't exist, and it's because of it's because they're kicking illegals off of Medicaid.
All the people we called out, do you see why you sound exactly like the media? You sound exactly like them.
I mean, it's just guys, this is a good day. Like Ice Cube said, today was a good day. I didn't even have to use my AK. So Zelensky even
Last week
chimed
I messed around and hit a triple double.
He hit a triple double.
Me and you, Josh. Sorry, bro.
Mama made breakfast with no hawk. Now, Zelensky even chimed in on X saying, I congratulated President Trump on the successful operation in the Middle East. Ukraine is ready to buy this equipment and support Americans' weapon manufacturers. I also informed the president about how the technical team's meetings in Istanbul went, as well as the exchanges of prisoners that have fallen. Russia handed over the bodies of its own troops. That's really weird to throw in at the end. That may be a war crime.
God, that's awful. They're handing over troops, dead soldiers, casualties.
Russia,
as if they're Ukrainian and they're actually Russian.
That's what seemed. Again, this is just going by what Zelensky has said, which just, if true, just shows you that Putin doesn't care about his own people. If he's doing that, this is why. Like I said, they're both pricks. They're both corrupt nations. I don't think that Russia is any beacon of hope or bastion of freedom. Come on, guys, we just don't want to go to war with Russia.
What did Putin do? Like throw in a North Korean body? Like what a jerk!
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, like we wanted Vladimir. This is Vladimir. Yeah, you can easily tell.
This is Chen. Now, let's just wrap this up. Then we'll get to gay Iron Man because it's another when Disney is hemorrhaging money.
Oh, good.
Oh, Mission Control, can you just bring me that number as to the losses from Disney? I think it was like 40-something billion, whatever it was, or the debt.
That's the debt, I believe.
Wrapping up NATO, Trump also took the opportunity to rip on the media for its coverage, as we're seeing now, of the Iran mission. And again, watch Rubio.
And CNN, New York Times, they're all bad. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. But you know what? You should be praising those people instead of trying to find something. By trying to go and get me, you're hurting those people. They were devastated. You know, I got a call from Missouri, great state, that I won 3 times by a lot. And I got a call that the pilots and the people on the plane were devastated because they were trying to minimize the attack. And they all said it was hit. But we don't think it was really maybe hit that badly. And they were devastated. They put their lives on the line, and then they have, and I'm not referring to you, but real scum come out and write reports that are as negative as they could possibly be. It should be the opposite. You should make them heroes and heroines. You should make them really people that they were so devastated when they heard this news. And you know what they said? One of them, I spoke to one of them, said, "Sir, we hit the site. It was perfect. It was dead on." Because they don't understand fake news, because they have like normal they have to fly very big, very fast planes. But it's a shame. You should be making them heroes.
That turned out better than we even thought.
Rubio might have smoked a little bit on the Air Force One there.
A little bit. By the way, that'll have whatever that nonprofit is that labeled us least accurate in media, because like that actually didn't happen. Celine Dion did not provide the licensing rights for her.
And there was no Zoom.
There was no Zoom. So all the references available, link in the description, as we do every single show. If anyone else doesn't, I'd immediately question them.
I like how he said heroes and heroines. Take that, Times.
Yeah.
Damn, we were gonna hit that. He didn't mention the women.
Damn it. Trans? What do we call? Son of a bitch.
The reception from him at that NATO conference is so different than, obviously we showed the media and saying what he would do.
Right.
But the world leaders, we had basically been told that all the world leaders just want to shun Donald Trump. They hate him. They think he's an authoritarian, that he's a fascist, blah, 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 blah. That was like going to a party, like a friendly gathering of people. Like it was just such a different tone.
Here's the thing. Former Vice President Biden was a severe embarrassment to this nation. By that, I mean, that guy walks into NATO, like, oh, do you need a hand? Do you see he doesn't know where he's going? President Trump, before he was president, he walked into a room and people go, holy shit, that's Trump.
Yeah.
Right? He walks into that room, they're going, oh, okay. Daddy's home, as they said. Imagine, we go from, hey, do you need help? Do you need help finding Jill? To yes, Mr. Trump, sir. Yes, Mr. President, sir. Yes. Look, you guys can say, mean tweets. It does. Hey, respect counts for more on the international stage.
Yes.
Being nice gets you nowhere if you're just nice for the sake of nice. Being virtuous gets you somewhere. But let's be honest, when it comes to dealing with world leaders, it's about commanding respect. Combine that with virtue, that's where you have historically great leaders. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.